Welcome back. Today we are going to be making a cat. This is my cat Kiwi, so I'm going to try and model it off of that. I think with the 20-minute time limit that's in place, it would be a little ambitious to try and make, a fully armatured up cat, like standing up and stuff like that. So I'm just going to try and make a cat that's loafing around. So I'm going to use this as the front model. So let's begin. Get rid of the cube and let's replace it with a sphere. Heads are approximately sphere shaped, so let's move the picture over. And we're gonna size you down, go into edit mode. That looks about right. Oops, didn't want to do that. So we have that, and then we're going to want, I'm trying to think of what shape would best work for the body. I think if we do a cube and then use the subdivision surface modifier and put it up to 3, and then move it down and kind of squish it vertically just a little bit, and then we'll make it longer in the other direction, so we can move it over along the y-axis, move it up so it's with the body, and then kind of make it a little wider. Kiwi's a pretty big cat, so we'll make it a little wider. At one point she was only the size of a pen, but now she's a little bigger. She's not fat, she's just long. Okay, let's make some ears. You can see the ears kind of point out right there. So we'll start by looking at where we'd want the ears to kind of poke up from. I think maybe we'd take these 4. And let's see, does that look about right? Yeah, maybe we can even go down and up 1 more. If we take those, how does it look? That's a little wide up top. So what we can do is we can take the knife tool. Oop. Take this vertex, go like this. Well, that will do, hopefully, if we get rid of now this, is that we can avoid making any triangles or n-gons, because if with these triangles gone, if it's going to let me select that vertex, will it? Nope. There is a little hole into the, Never knew it worked like that. If you get rid of something, it makes that hole. I think what we should be able to do is go from here to here and then use a fill command. And that does kind of fill it. There's a little bit of artifacts. Hopefully that isn't a big issue. But now let's repeat that. In fact, no, let's not repeat that. Let's we'll just mirror everything once we're done with half of the cat. Okay, so back to our front view. Okay, so we want to select surfaces. We want you, you, and you. And we want 2 additional ones, you and you. Oops. What am I doing here? There we go. Okay. Now we want to take them and then extrude with respect to the normals. Kind of goes like this, but instead of extruding all the way like that, they'll kind of come together at a point, and it's a bit of a rounded point. Now we can move all those points let's use shift. Can make the, just trying to match the shape. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be close enough. That looks pretty good. So let's now try and make some eyes, or just one eye, I guess. You know what? Let's do the mirroring now, so we can not have to worry about it later. I think we have done all we need to do with this, so we'll go back to object mode and apply the subdivision surface modifier. We'll go back to edit mode. Whoa. Oh, that was for this. You know, let's not do that. I was on the wrong object, I think. Oh no, it's all one object. Okay, that's fine. Kind of in my head. Here we go. Okay, we're back to this. We want two eyes. If we look where the eyes typically are, let's select everything and kind of move it over just temporarily. That's not what I wanted to do. I wonder why that, oh, it's because we are not in wireframe mode. We didn't select everything. And in fact, actually, if we're in wireframe mode, it makes it a lot easier. Look at that. Shift A, let's make a sphere. This sphere is going to be the eyeball. Kiwi actually got her name because the color of her eyes was a green, so it made it look like her eyes were kiwis. Her full name is Kiwi Typhoon Greenleaf. The typhoon is because she was born during a massive like rainstorm, and so when we picked her up, it was very rainy. Okay, we now have a eye. You know, the eye is probably a little bigger because it goes into the socket, but it seems like it's placed, you know, appropriately. Now we need to make sure it's placed appropriately with respect to the front of the cat. So we want to move it along the y-axis. And now I think if we're like this and go to wireframe, I think that should be pretty good. Okay, we have that. Maybe we'll make some whiskers. Whiskers probably come down from here. It's a bit annoying that we can't select this because of the body, but I mean we can select it. We just have to kind of move everything up. There's probably a better way of doing this. What am I missing? You know what, let's just do it this way. Just move you out of the way for now. Okay, if we go back to wireframe mode, it looks like we're kind of shifted over. Her face isn't, you know, fully pointing towards the front, but we have the nose, which should be around here. We'll just kind of shift everything over. And then the whiskers are about maybe 3 entities over. So if this is the nose, and like 1, 2, 3 around here-ish. So I think if we take these, is it like below the eyes? Yeah, it's like below the eyes, maybe a little inside the eyes. Let's use these. Okay, we'll take each of these and we'll inset them. Then with these, oh, that's not what I wanted for the inset. Let's do them one at a time. And we'll extrude, I think, along X. We don't obviously want it to come all the way just on S, but if we go like this, we want to size it, we want to shrink it, but not shrink it along X. So I think if we do S and then hold Shift and press X, nope, that doesn't work like I thought it would. These kind of work, but I don't want it to make them come together as much. So I think I'll just do it one at a time. Kind of go like that. And like that. Okay, if we select those two, now what we can do is make them come out a little in front. Okay, that looks about right. And then let's make the nose go back to this wireframe mode. Nose will be, we'll just kind of like shift it over to here. It's kind of like a triangle. I'm trying to think of what the best shape would be to make this. I think you could use a cube. And so what we do for the cube is we size it down. Then we rotate it with respect to this axis. Once it's like this, we then rotate it a little with respect to the x-axis. Make it a lot smaller. Okay, move back to here. Move it up. And then move it forward. Looks like it's in about the right spot. Go back to this shape. Maybe a little further out. What if we go down to this? Sweet. All right. Now I think we can take this and move it back. And we can take everything, look at it from the front, try and select faces, just this half. Oh, it's the same problem. That's annoying. That happens even if we're in this mode? Or will that be fixed if we're in X-ray mode? Okay, I think that should fix it. Delete the vertices. Oh, we deleted a little too much there. Okay, we don't want to delete all of it. We just want to delete the vertices that are off to the left. But if we delete these vertices, then that gets taken away too. So what if we just delete the faces? That seems to work. Kind of messes everything up here. I don't know why that happened, but we can fix that in a sec. So let's now take everything, apply a mirror modifier. Look at that. Okay, we gotta figure out what's happening with this body, but I think for now shouldn't be too hard. Just move it over like this. Okay, so I didn't select all of that. Okay, now we've selected just the body, I think. If we move along the x-axis, we can do that, which is a very fat cat, but we don't want quite that fat a cat. So we go S, X, kind of move you in, and then GX, kind of push it together. Look at that. Actually, we can do it like this. If we clip, then when we move in, we can make sure that there's no extra. And now we're back to where we started. Look at that. Fantastic. Okay, we can now make, I guess, a tail. We're kind of running out of time, so we could also just do coloring. The thing with Kiwi's face, though, is it's going to be a bit intricate because she is a tuxedo cat, so we got to kind of match this general shape. Let's do the tail. Let's do the tail. Okay. Turn around. And there's a couple ways we could do this. We could use what's it called? Align. Could use one of those splines. I think, though, we can also just kind of, once we apply the mirror modifier, let's go back to object mode for a second. Once we apply this and this, we can now go back to edit mode, and we can take make this bigger. I think if you do, like, is it Shift V? You can go like this, and then we can K from here to here to here, hit enter, take this and this, merge them. Nope, that's not what I wanted. What if we just get rid of that, get rid of this edge, and then fill this in? Nope, not K, F. Okay, now you're filled in. Now we can take this, kind of do a little bit of an inset. Maybe do another inset. Take this, 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 and this, and this. Get it from the side. S Y E Y. This probably should wrap around the cat, so trying to think of the best way to do this. Why is it such a weird shape? That is not what I intended. Is that just the shape of this? Huh. That is weird. I guess it's because of the way I cut the geometry. Okay, there are other ways of doing this. Can take you, inset, like that, then E, and then I think there's a way to circularize. Maybe not. Okay, so we're just making a bit of a rotating tail here. Usually when cats are loafing around, their tail kind of hangs like this. So let's do that. just a bit more. That seems about good. And then we can kind of make it come to a point instead. Or what if we do it like this, extrude a little bit more? It's already kind of curved in that way. We can go like this. Okay, cat looks a little bit derpy right now, but you know, that's the way it is. Let's create some coloring. We could use GIMP to make a, yeah, let's do that. We'll take that, just sample the actual colors itself. It'll make it easier. We're gonna go a little over time-wise, but well, whatever. It's worth it for a good cat model. Hello? Is it not open? Pretty sure I clicked it. Huh. Well, while we wait for it, okay, I was gonna say while we wait for it to do its thing, we could just start coloring normally, but now that it's up, let's work with this. GIMP has a great feature where you can sample colors from anywhere, not just within the application, but literally anywhere. So we'll use that. Did I open it twice? Yeah, I did open it twice. I was gonna say I clicked on it and then, okay, here we are. So we want a new new template. We'll make it 2048 by 2048. So it's a square, and we'll color the whole thing in black. Okay, now we'll take a couple of rectangles, and we'll say, okay, we want this rectangle to be a color. What color do we want it to be? And then we can sample it. So as you can see here, when you click this, it'll let me click anywhere. So what do we want to do? We want to get to the picture of the cat, so we can do that by taking everything, making sure we've selected it all, and then kind of just moving it out of the way for the time being. Okay, now we are here. Let's get a picture. Okay, this is a bit annoying. We gotta get this out of the way. Now we can sample, and let's, you know, get some of her fur. It's kind of like brownish here. I think that's a bit because of the coloring. I'm just gonna move it a bit towards the gray side, because I know in reality her fur is gray. So we'll say okay, and then now that we have this, we can color in that. We can take another rectangle, and let's see, what kind of white do we want? Let's move this out of the way. It kind of looks a little pinkish here, so let's take the white, you know, around here. Again, maybe the shade is slightly browner than in reality, so we'll move it a little towards the white side, but not too much. We have that, so let's fill it in. Let's now get her eyes. This picture unfortunately doesn't have, you know, the best view of her eyes, but that's okay. Can always adjust the color. So I'll take this, then we can move it a bit towards green, because I know in reality it's more like yellow green than it is orange. And it's probably a bit more like over here. Yeah, I'll say that's okay. Then we'll get her nose. Her nose is going to be this color. I think that is probably good to just keep as is. And I think that should be pretty much it. Oh, her eye pupils, actually. Okay, don't want to forget that. We can probably just use the black of the background, but whatever. Let's just get it for sake of posterity. Okay, here we go. We now have all of that. Okay, that's like brown. Let's make it closer to black. Okay, file. Let's export this as Kiwi colors. Export. Let's go back to Blender. Oh, oops. Forgot to. There we go. Export. Okay, now we can move. Just Control Z to move you back into place. We can create a new color. This will be. We'll just keep it as Principal BSDF. Take the base color, make it an image texture, and we are going to choose this image texture. Nope, not from that. Instead, we'll open. It should be in downloads, I think. Maybe not. Did I export it to the wrong location? Where did I export it to? It is exported to documents. Why did it export there? Okay, let's just export it to downloads for now. This is not good practices. I should just have like a folder specifically for color exports, but whatever. Worry about that in the future. For right now, worried about finishing the model. Okay. Now that we've exported, we go back to Blender, cancel this, open up in the downloads, Kiwi colors, look at that. Okay, obviously these colors are not great right now, but that is because we need to unpack everything. So let's go back to here and let's go to X-ray mode. So we want, I'm going to use circle select here. This is to start everything with, you know what, let's start with black because we can kind of move from there. So we'll start with everything as the Kiwi black. So we will UV unwrap the faces, smart UV project, and unwrap. And now you can see kind of what we're going for here. So this is just the general body. And her black was up there. So now when we come back here, we should see that her face is this the right black color? I guess so. Okay, let's do this one at a time. Okay, body black is the same as face black. Let's do the eyes. So the eyes, I guess, are mostly this black, except for I'd rather do like a loop here, but that's gonna be a little tough. Okay, whatever. Let's do one thing at a time. Okay, we know who you are. You're over here. And we know that if we take this, is it Shift plus? Alt plus? I'm pretty sure there's some way you can like get it to select more stuff from the element you've selected, but I can't figure that out. So let's just go back to the side model, kind of do it from here, or from the top might actually be better. Okay, if we go to this mode, and then kind of look at it from here, circle select. Let's do the same thing over here. Oop, not there. Here. Oh, before I forget, let's do that. There we go. Oops. Let's not do that. Back to X-ray mode, back to circle select. Okay, should be good. It's not gonna be perfect, but good enough for the purposes of what we're doing. Make 2 little nostrils here, maybe. Just put them on the actual black. Okay, so we got these now. Let's do a little trick to mess with these eyes. So I'm just gonna try and select these edge loops. I don't know why that edge loop got selected. They're the same edge loop? Interesting, okay. That makes it a little tougher, but whatever, we'll make do. Maybe I should have waited to do the mirroring until the very end, but you live and you learn. Alright, I could have also rotated this eye, but if we just do this, and now we go like this, and then kind of just make a circle. Look at that. Okay. Now let's unselect you and 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 you. Now we can unwrap, make you all smaller, and move you to the eye. Beautiful. Okay, let's move to this eye now. I'll use L. Select you all, move you to black, and let's just skip the part that we did first last time and then just go straight to, you know, tracing out the outline. I think if I had to do this again, I would try and make sure I orient the sphere so that I can use an edge loop to just select whichever layer of the eyes I wanted. So I'd have to point the, you know, singularity of the edge loop, the point where it all comes to one, out towards the camera, or out towards where the eyes are pointing. But that's okay, you live and you learn. Okay, let's now unselect, doop, 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 doop. Okay. Project, make it smaller, make it smaller, make it green. And then we'll just go like this and take one of you and one of you. Take all of that and make it, you know, the color of an eye. Okay. Now let's do the face. This is going to be the toughest part. But I'm just going to try and freeball it kind of like I did with the other stuff. So I'm just kind of shifting everything over. I'm going to try and avoid the nose as much as I can. Go back to here to see what the damage is. That's fine. I think I may have accidentally chosen some stuff on the back of the cat's head, but that's not a big deal. In fact, none of this is a really big deal because it's all the same color, so I'm worrying about this way too much. Let's just say it kind of all meshes together. Okay. The ears also have a bit of white. There's kind of like some white that got here. That's what okay. She does not have white at this part of her head, so all we gotta do is this, then this, then this. The tip of her tail is white, so let's do that. Don't know what happened there. A couple just spots that are around. Let's clear those up. Whoa. Okay, let's just do the ears and then we'll be done. Here we are. I don't know what happened to the music, but that's okay because we're almost done. Okay, take these, project it, unwrap it, shrink it down, move it to the white. Bang. Now we have a cat. Look at that. I mean, you can't really see with the mesh, but if we turn the mesh off, there is Kiwi. You know, not exactly a one-to-one replica, but here she is. If we go back, I guess we can add a little more white to the body. I was thinking that wasn't quite right, but I think if we just do that, that should be a good enough approximation, or as good as anything else that I've put up here. There we go. There's Kiwi. Kiwi the cat. All right. Hope you enjoyed